So we're back with Julie Golob, and now we can talk about some interesting new releases from Smith & Wesson, who's one of your sponsors.
Yes, yes, hot off the press.
Right. So talk to me. What's the deal with this new M2.0?
It is the newest evolution of the M&P. It's basically taken the standard M&P and done all these little things that military, law enforcement, competition shooters, everyday users have given feedback to improve the design. And here it is for us, and it's debuted today even.
Awesome. I'm trying to think, in the number of gun purchases that I had, I think the M&P was probably third or fourth. I think it was the third or fourth gun that I bought. I had the MP9. I had an MP9C. So I'm pretty familiar. I think I've done a couple of videos comparing the Glock and the M&P. So I'm pretty familiar with the platform. So it's interesting to see them kind of pretty much modify and would you call it a revolution or an evolution in terms of what they've done to the gun?
Well, I think the initial M&P was the revolution, and this is just an evolution of it.
You know what? I could give you that. I could give you that. I'm pretty sure there's some Glock people whose heads just exploded. But
yeah, one of the things that really set the M&P apart when it came onto the market was the fact that it was built on a 40 platform. And up until that point, all of the polymer frame guns were all like, oh, we're 9 first, and now we're 40. Well, we flipped it and made the 40 work. And
I did not know that.
Came out with a 9.
Wow,
exactly.
I never knew that. I never knew that it was based on a 40 platform.
It was, yes. And what really sold me at the time, I was actually working for Glock. I shot the M&P in 40 at a match and was completely blown away by how soft it shot. And having compared it to like a G35 or whatever, it was huge. And so it wasn't much to steal me away.
You know,
and I began shooting it full time.
Now that you say that, and it makes all the sense in the world now. I remember I was shooting an M&P 40, and I remember I didn't like the 40 so much in most platforms because I just thought the recoil wasn't really worth the perceived benefit.
Exactly.
But I did notice that the MP 40 shot incredibly soft. And I remember I was talking to someone. I was like, I don't understand what kind of voodoo went into this gun or what they did, because I'm a big H&K guy, and even I noticed within theirs, and their platform was built off the 42, at least the USPs, and they still recoiled quite a bit. But no, like the MP 40 handles the 40 round better than anything I think I've ever shot. So, but now knowing that it was based off of the 40, now it makes a lot of sense to me now. Sorry, I just had a weird revelation while we were talking about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think about that, but that was the basis of it. And when you start thinking about how the M&P was made, because it was built on 40, the ergonomics are huge.
Yeah.
And they translate over to 9mm and of course 45, but you really notice it in snappy 40. And what the M2.0 does is it takes it to the next level. It takes all of those little things that we want, those modifications, and just brings it all into play for the next evolution of the gun.
Yeah. So now for you, are you going to be switching over to the M2.0, or because I know a lot of competition shooters, they don't like to do a lot of changing when it comes to their guns. They're like, this is the gun I've always been shooting with. I'm going to stick with this gun. Is that something you're entertaining doing? Is changing over?
Definitely entertaining, because it's all the little features that I've wanted.
Okay.
The two main things that competition shooters care most about in firearms are grip and trigger.
Okay.
And so the 2.0 has a fully textured grip. And that is so nice. I know a lot of times, we emphasize that we have the palm swell texture on the performance center guns, but having that front texture on the grip itself is such a huge player for me. And then add to it the fact that you've got the small, medium, and large, and now with the M2.0, the medium large grip, so 4 palm swell options, that's a huge deal. But probably the single most significant difference with the M&P M2.0 is the trigger.
Yeah.
So it's got a really firm reset. You can hear it. and that is something that a lot of people have that's been the one thing that a lot of people haven't appreciated about the old version of the M&P. I myself like a mushy trigger. I shoot a lot of revolvers.
And you know what's funny about that? I was just about to say that. I was like, the irony is I'm pretty sure you don't shoot the reset.
No, not that often. But it's there now. And should I use it for whatever, close targets and that sort of thing, it's definitely an option. So right out of the box, it's there and ready to go. And it's really cool gun.
I can remember countless diatribes I've gone on in the past about that was always the biggest thing about the M&P was the fact that the trigger didn't have a very definitive audible and tactile reset, so to speak.
Right.
It was only a big deal because I think for a lot of people were groomed for the Glock, who's and I think I said it in the video, I said it was probably the most arrogant reset in the market because it was so loud about it and so shouty about it. It's like, okay, we get it, the gun reset. But,
right.
But the interesting thing about that is now, as I've gotten deeper into the shooting world and met a lot of people who shoot competition, I think the value of the reset in some respects is overstated in terms of how important it really is to have it. But I will say that it does speak a lot to Smith & Wesson listening to the consumers from the standpoint of, there are a lot of people saying, well, we want to reset. They go so far as to add apex triggers and things of that nature. So I have to give them props for actually listening to the consumer base and giving them what they want in many ways, because you don't get that a lot. Before it's just kind of like, here it is. You take what we give you. Have a good day.
Absolutely.
So that was one of the things that I did notice about the M2.0 that kind of stuck out to me when I was reading over some of the new features. And as far as the textured grip, that was interesting too. I am used to kind of the kind of soft plush feel of the older M&Ps. So I'm really interested to see how they were able to manage or balance the rough texturing so that it wasn't too aggressive, but aggressive enough where you get a better purchase on the gun. Because I think that's an art in and of itself.
Oh, definitely. But it's the thing that I love about it is that it wraps all the way around the grip. Where
Gotcha.
Someone with small hands, you want every little bit that's going to help you, and so that's a really big deal for me.
Now, this one still comes with the interchangeable back straps or no?
Oh yes, and in fact, it comes with four. Instead of three.
Okay.
So now we have 4. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. And so now, are they right now? They're only coming in the full size platform. Am I correct? Or
there's a 4 1/4 and a 5-inch models. Yes.
Okay. Yes. And so now, are there any plans to right now it's a 9, 45, 40, and 45. Are there any other caliber choices that are going to be available or?
Well, Smith & Wesson, they're such an innovative company that I'm sure that you'll probably see an expansion of the family eventually.
Gotcha, yeah.
But right now we're focusing on 940, 45, and obviously hugely popular calibers, and in those large full-size versions.
Now, does that mean that you guys are they still going to continue producing the older M&Ps, or are those done?
I don't believe so. I believe this is the next evolution. What's really neat about what they've done with the 2.0 is they've really tried to keep as much the same that is critical. So the trigger guard geometry is the same, so it's going to fit a lot of the same holsters. You can use old and new magazines interchangeably. That's not an issue. So it's stuff like that. The dovetail cut and the slide is still the same. So if you the aftermarket sites, if you want to add them, you can just use the same cut. So it's a lot of that thought went into it. It wasn't just hey, let's make a new gun
right?
kind of thing, right?
Now I do have to ask this one of the most pertinent questions that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to ask.
Oh boy.
Price.
Okay.
What is it going to? Is it going to be within the same realm? Is it higher, lower? What are we looking at?
It's $599 MSRP.
Okay. And
that's across the board for all.
Okay, awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. The new Smith & Wesson M2.0. I got to get used to saying that now. So is it M&P M.2 or is it just M2.0?
All right, you ready? It's M&P M2.0.
Okay, gotcha. I'm never going to get used to that. But there you have it, guys. Is it available for purchase now, or are we still got to wait some time?
They are shipping.
They're ready to go?
So,
all right.
Yes, 9 and 40 are at wholesalers, so they're shipping.
Awesome. Good to know. Well, thank you very much, Julie. It was a pleasure as always. Love speaking with you. And be sure this isn't the last time we see you.
That's great. Have a great new year.
Will do. 2017 has definitely already demonstrated itself to be pretty interesting.
Absolutely.
But look forward to speaking with you again.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. And that is it for the first episode of 2017 for Seeing Live. I'm Colion Noir. I'll see you tomorrow.